start over. Here we are at Solution Finish. I'm standing here with David Silicon of Innovative Detailing, based out of Tustin, California, correct?
Yes.
And what I just found out, because I didn't know officially, you've been in business 34 years, and I think that is 1 year longer than myself, but I don't, after 30 years, it becomes irrelevant. My question that I'm trying to find out is to help some of you beginners out there is, what wisdom have you learned along the way that you would want to dispense to these beginners when it comes to auto detailing, and specifically running a business doing auto detailing?
Right. Well, number one, like I mentioned, is have some reserves.
Have reserves.
Have 6 months set aside for the worst case scenarios, because you never know. The economy goes up and down, and so does our business. Number two is keep it humble. It's paint.
I had to laugh at that because I pissed so many people off on my channel.
Right.
They're like, man, you're such an arrogant prick and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what that actually is? That's actually my frustration for this business and for all the bad information that gets put out on there. It's the frustration coming out. So I get where I come across that way. So
yeah, for me, it's just I focus on mainly paint. So for me, understanding optical clarity is truly the key. And it's not just taking a machine and running across the surface. It's having proper lighting, whether it's a lot of light or minimal light, and just taking that least aggressive approach to correct the surfaces. And I don't offer volume work. It's very focused.
Yes. Let me ask you this, because this is something I have felt has been lacking. Because I come across, because I've been mobile 99.9% of my entire career.
Right.
You have an established shop. Where did you even start out mobile?
Yeah, I did 27 years mobile.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
what I would do is I would take the time and talk to other detailers, because often we'd show up in a parking lot, especially here in Southern California. I mean, it's saturated with detailers. And I'd ask them, like, oh, hey, do you do paint correction or blah, blah, blah. I'd get into a conversation with them. Not once did I ever hear a detailer talk about the fact of like, well, what I like to do with the customer is the least aggressive approach. And I like to educate the customer and let them know, hey, by the way, your clear coat is only so thick.
correct.
Because most detailers are hyper-focused and they think, okay, if I can show this customer that I'm the best paint correction specialist in the world, he's going to be coming back to me for life.
Right.
It's like, okay, I get the logic behind that, but how about you step into the customer's shoes who doesn't even have enough experience to ask the right questions of like, oh, you're going to take a buffer to my car. Is that going to damage it in any way? It's like, oh no, it's going to look so good. You're going to wet yourself when you see your car.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the meantime, I'm also going to reduce the thickness of the clear coat by 50% if I have to.
Well, what I have at the shop is a paint chip sample. I have one that's 2.9 mils, one that's 5 mils, one that's 9 mils, so they can see the variances.
Yeah.
Repaint, OEM measurement, and too thin. So I got to know where to throw that red flag up to deliver a product that they can come back again and have it detailed again over and over, but yet still optically really clear.
Good. Do you have a way, pretend I'm a customer. Hey, David, I got a referral. I heard you're the man. I've got a black car. I want to take it to the next level. How many times have you heard that? I want to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I want it to pop.
Right,
it's like, okay. So do you have a way of explaining that they can understand it? Because that's one of the things I try to teach on my channel is you've got to figure out who you're talking to, your audience, as in your customer, and kind of speak their language. Because you're going to throw all these terms, oh, I'm going to take a paint thickness gauge measurement and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, and they're not going to say to you, it's like, wait, David, I don't even understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. But they're going to have to be confused inside their head.
Yeah.
So have you figured out a way?
It all boils down to optical clarity, and again, taking the least aggressive approach to minimize those imperfections.
Okay, so let's back up. I'm going to play devil's advocate. When you say optical clarity, because I'm going to pretend that I'm just a complete ignorant car owner, I just know what I want my car to look like.
Right.
When you say optical clarity, like, what does that mean? Are you going to put like some glasses on my car? What does that mean?
It's the light refraction coming off your surface.
Okay.
So the clearer it is, the better the light's going to bounce in and bounce out.
Okay.
If it's distorted or if there's imperfections, it gets thrown thrown out or distorted.
So what are you going to do to my paint in order to fix this or create this optical clarity? Hey, Mel. Good.
Just going to take the least aggressive approach, whether I'm generally going to start with a finishing polish and a cutting pad, and I'm going to minimize those imperfections so that we can deliver, depending on your expectations and your budget, where you want to go with the job.
See, you just used one of the terms that I throw out all the time: expectations. And that to me is, it's one thing to be a great detailer, whatever that means. I'm a great detailer. Okay, how are you at running a business?
Well,
that's a different thing. Unless you can understand what their expectations are and manage them right out of the box, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble, because they come back like, dude, I didn't know that's what you meant. I didn't know. I just heard this guy, my next door neighbor came over and said, oh, you let that guy take a buffer to your car? You never should take a buffer to a car. He's going to have swirl marks all over it. And so there's just so much ignorance out there, which is why I say it's like you got to get in your head. You've got to ask them the right questions so you can start to begin to understand where that customer is coming from, what their knowledge and understanding is.
Me, like you, I'm an owner-operated shop. I don't focus on volume. It's more crafted surface care. So I keep it that way. I may not be as cheap as the other guy, but then again, it's the experience, it's the quality, and I stand behind it. So.
And do you really want to be known as the cheapest shop in town anyways?
No, I've been doing it too long.
Yeah. Which is why I will add, I send business to this guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Because
you
I
said
know
you sent someone else a different place too, but they never called him back.
Oh,
so I felt really good about that.
Well, you know what I do is I try to be in a non-salesy way.
Yeah, neutral.
Yeah. And so I offer them two choices. And they're both guys, because I consider Richard, he's a craftsman.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen his work, and I don't have a problem sending him business. So I usually send people two names. Yours is one of them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks.
So thanks for spending a little time with us on camera. Hopefully you guys learned a little something. And we'll go pick. Okay, I'm here with Joel of Masterson.
Joel? Greg?
That's why I asked you in there. See, I'm meeting too many people.
No, you're talking about Joel. I thought you were talking about Joel from IGL.
Yeah, see, in my head, I'm going, I know this guy's first name, but we're at a meet and greet here at Solution Finish, and I'm bouncing around trying to talk to as many people as I can, and this little hard drive is overloaded right now. Okay, so Greg, Masterson's Car Care, which the world is now familiar with thanks to Facebook.
The internet, right?
The internet, exactly. So let me ask you a probing question, and if you refuse, that's fine. We can edit it out. Because I know people ask, you bounce from Chemical Guys, Masterson's. What do you say when people ask you that? I guarantee I'm not the first guy.
A lot of people ask me that. You know, I did a lot of stuff for Chemical Guys.
And you were good. I would see you on those videos and be like, is that guy got a teleprompter or what? And then the first time I think I met you was at McGuire's headquarters in Irvine. I said, dude, you got to tell me. You're like, oh, I don't use any teleprompter. I get in front of that camera. I can talk all day long. I'm thinking, man, I'm so envious of that. So with that said, what do you have a standard response? Like help us make sense of that. Because as I said, I watched you for a very long time talking about Chemical Guys. And then suddenly I see a video. It's like, wait, what happened to Greg? Where'd Greg go? They got a new guy. What's that?
You know. Well, I wanted to make some new products. You know, at Masterson's Car Care, we're in Anaheim, California. So whoever you guys watching this, go out to our factory store, 2120 East Howell Avenue, Anaheim, California. So come down.
See how good he is.
And also come to our website, mastersonswax.com. And you know, we wanted to make some high quality products. So here at Masterson's Car Care, at our shop, we do all handmade products. We make all of our handmade products at our Rialto facilities, and we ship it out from.
So literally, to clarify that. Would you call Rialto your manufacturing plant?
Correct.
Where you're formulating, mixing, the mad scientists are at work, and you produce it there?
Correct. That's where we produce it.
Okay, so you probably get your raw ingredients shipped there, and you blend it. Are you literally blending it there?
We blend it there. We actually get our raw ingredients from around the world, like our carnauba wax. We make a carnauba wax, and we import the carnauba from Brazil. So we use made in Brazil carnauba.
And I know there's different grades of
There are different
wax.
grades, and there's a lot of different grades of carnauba around the world right now. So a lot of other companies, they are getting their carnauba from like Thailand or Vietnam. They also grow carnauba.
Probably cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper, and the reason is because in Brazil they make the tree grow to a much higher standard, much older age before they cut it down and harvest out the carnauba. And in places like Thailand and Vietnam and like the South Pacific, they'll get the trees just a little short and then cut it down. And then that leads to the carnauba not being as rich, not being as developed. It won't lead to as much protection or as much gloss. So we import our carnauba from Brazil and bring it to the USA, and then we blend it here with all made in the USA ingredients. So all of our other ingredients, like our binders or any of our colorings, we actually source directly from the USA.
Okay.
So
pro-US.
Pro-USA, buy in the USA, yeah.
Obviously, you can't get Brazilian carnauba wax from the USA.
Correct, yeah.
It's got to originate from somewhere in the world.
Yeah, and like the Brazilian carnauba wax, if anybody's ever used our carnauba wax, there's a lot of different kinds, as a detailer. There's paste, there's creams, there's like hybrid versions, and you can't just use carnauba right when it comes out of the tree. You can't just slice off the tree and apply. It has to be refined down. Has to take all the process, all the impurities taken out, and that's how you get a more pure carnauba. And we make two different types of carnauba. We make a cream carnauba, very easy to use, and it's like a half synthetic, half carnauba-based wax. So it goes on easy. It gives the shine of the carnauba, but it uses synthetic additives that makes it easy to use, faster drying, easier to remove. Because standard carnauba wax, if you've ever used it, pure, it's rock hard. Yeah,
and it's raw, or really the raw form would be straight off the tree out of the plantation fields.
Yeah, and even in the very pure flake form, it's very hard to use.
Yeah.
One of my friends in the UK actually made me a carnauba wax and sent me. He's like, I need this, but it's so hard to apply. You have to heat it up with a hairdryer, and because you have to get it warm or let it sit in the sun.
That sounds convenient.
Yeah,
and over in the UK, they have so much sun over there.
Yeah, there you go. So
that sounds like a really bad combination.
A bad combination. Even out here, it's very hard to use. I have to heat up the foam pad with a hairdryer, put it on, spread it on. It starts hardening really quickly.
Okay.
But here, I wanted to make products that are easier to use. Like if anybody's watching this video and they pick up our products,
they'll be watching.
It should be very easy to use. You should be able to grab our products right off the Masterson shelf and use our products very, very easily.
With that said, what one or two things about Mastersons would you want the world to know that perhaps they don't know that makes Mastersons unique? I mean, you've touched upon a few points already that makes Mastersons unique or special. So one or two things, what would be that thing okay, I want the world to know that?
About Masterson's Car Care, the one thing, I'll start with the most important thing I want you guys to know is ease of use. Now, detailing is a very complicated subject. I know me and you try to make it super simple, and we try to take something that's very complicated and simplify it down. And it's very difficult.
As I say, in 200,000 words or less, let me tell you how to clean car leather.
Yeah, let me tell you how to paint correct.
Yeah.
In an online article. It's very difficult to do. It takes years of knowledge.
Yes.
But the way I want to do our products here at Masterson's Car Care, and the one thing I work with my team to develop the products, is ease of use. That anybody should be able to pick up this product and use it, and it makes detailing very simple. Like a lot of other companies, like the other guys, they make 50 different shampoos, 50 different detail sprays, and most of them all do the same thing. And so here at Masterson's, we develop a core base of products. So we have a core snow foam, a core shampoo, a core wax, and these are going to be a great wax, a great shampoo, a great detail spray to use for anybody on any type of vehicle where you don't have complications of choosing products. I guarantee anybody watching this video can go walk into the other guy's store and their employees don't know what they're talking about because they can't pick out the right products. You should buy this, and this. And so you walk into Masterson's Car Care, you're going to buy this detail spray, you're going to get one great, amazing product, and you're going to be satisfied. So the ease of use, to me, is the most important thing. The second part of the thing is quality customer service. Anybody can call Masterson's Car Care, speak with one of our trained reps. They work with me directly to have my knowledge that I've gained from years talking to people like you and everybody inside here at this IDA meet and greet. All that knowledge I like to pass on to my employees that work with our team, whether they're in the store or they're online self on the phone, or they're answering email questions or Facebook or Instagram questions directly over social media. I want them to have the knowledge to be able to give everybody the ease of use way of using the products, to select the right product, and to be able to get the results that a pro can get. Because a pro, it takes a lot of work to get pro results. But if you take the time to give us a call, go to our website, mastersonswax.com, check out our Facebook or our YouTube channel where we have hundreds of videos on how to use the product, you're going to gain a lot of knowledge out there, and you're going to have a better experience detailing and not so confused. One of the biggest problems I've had over the years of doing this, I've been in this industry a long time, is people calling and not understanding the detailing process.
Right.
That's my
Yeah.
biggest.
Well, you're fighting.
experience of it.
You feel like the salmon fighting the upstream current.
Yeah.
Of a truly ignorant consumer base. So as a professional, that base is called my potential customer.
There you go. Yeah.
They know how to buy a car, drive a car, probably. But past that, they don't know a whole lot. So you have to educate them. So in your world, because you're dealing with car enthusiasts, detailers, it's like, wait a minute, how much experience does this person really have?
Yeah.
How much knowledge does he really have? So you're constantly fighting against that. It's like, okay, dude, now I see where you're coming from. We need to rewind this a little bit.
Yeah.
And I need to start back here because I thought you were right here. So I get that part.
Yeah. Well, I like to
And
start.
that's tough.
I like to start from the base, because I've trained a lot of different people around the world. I've been to Dubai, Europe, all around America, training people that know nothing about detailing and training people who know everything about detailing. It's a huge spectrum. And then also training people with even like disabilities. Maybe they're handicapped. Maybe they're, we've trained deaf, or people that may have physical disabilities, like maybe they're missing an arm, or they have some type of disability like that.
Ran into
them a lot.
yes.
And I like to work with those people to give them the base, because everybody should be able to detail. Whether you're 7 or 70, you should be able to go out, grab a towel, grab some detail spray or some waterless wash, or even a machine, and you should be able to have an easy experience detailing. It shouldn't be confusing.
And when you walk away, your car should look at least a little bit better than when you started.
Yes.
And it should not be brain surgery.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to see a goal. You're going to see a goal happen. You're going to see an advancement, whether it's a small or a big one.
Right.
You're going to see some benefit.
Something.
Yeah, even if you're detailing, whether you're doing like light carpet cleaning or like just wiping your car down, you're going to see something go from bad to good every time. And that's what I like about detailing. I like to give that.
What I kind of call instant gratification.
Instant gratification.
Even if it takes you 5 hours.
Yeah, everybody loves it. I don't go to the gym. You go to the gym. And it takes like a long time. And I like instant gratification.
Yeah.
Most people do. And going to the gym is not instant gratification. It's like months of gratification.
It's called delayed gratification.
It's a delayed gratification, yeah. And
it's being engineered out of society, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyhow, with that said, we'll cut you there. Thanks for
Thank you, Mr.
coming to
Darren.
us on camera.
Yeah.
You have all this intel, and we'll bounce to the next dude. Okay, here now I'm with Mel Craig. Mel, what I don't know, even though you and I see each other almost every weekend because you live in Huntington Beach, right?
I live in Huntington Beach, yeah.
I just happen to like to go to Huntington Beach because I love the sun and it's free entertainment.
It's home.
Yeah, home for you, entertainment for me.
Yeah, there you go.
How long have you been in business?
Since 1981.
Okay, don't make me do the math.
Just over 40 years.
Wow. Okay, so you probably hold the record at this gathering.
Yeah, I'm
'cause
probably
we're here at Solution Finish.
Paul Weiler says I detailed the Ark.
That's good. So what I asked, like I had David Silicon on here, and I'm getting a few others on camera. If you were talking to a beginner, what 1 or 2 things would you, in your years of wisdom gaining, which is called the hard road of knocks, life,
School of Hard Knocks, yeah.
what 1 or 2 things would you say to a beginner? Was just like, okay, run in the opposite direction because this business drives me crazy. I love it, or whatever. What would you say?
Well, that is an amazing question, and I wish more people would ask that question of me. I can answer it very easily. Run it like a business, because everyone can clean a car. We're not sending a man to the moon. We're not NASA.
We're not trying to cure cancer.
Some of these guys are getting so into, I polish this car at this speed, at this temperature, with this pad,
and I've got this cool tool.
And I got this. And the bottom line is, if you don't run it like a business, you're never going to be profitable. Being in business is about making money. People come to me and say, oh, Mel's all about making money. You're damn right.
Damn straight.
I don't know of a successful businessman in the world that doesn't think, if I'm going to get into business, am I going to make money and am I going to be profitable? Yeah. And how profitable can I make it? Is it duplicatable? Can we make this business work, and can we expand it? Can we grow it? Is it scalable? And it's interesting because there's people that don't understand the car care industry as much as I do, because if you can really fathom the income that we can generate here. You start thinking about some of these coatings and these paint protection films that we're doing, and we can generate, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 per each car.
Right.
How many cars do you really need to do a week to really generate a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month income.
Right. Yeah.
It's really not that hard to do.
Yeah.
You don't. People say, "Well, God, how many people do that?" Well, it really doesn't take that many people to do that.
Yeah.
But let's go back to your question. If you focus on how to run a business, how do you get a customer? How do you keep a customer? How do you upsell? How do you cross sell? How do you handle QuickBooks? I mean, your numbers will never lie to you. If you're not running a business based on numbers, which is QuickBooks, and you understand your QuickBooks,
right,
you need to know, because at the end of every month, you need to look at your income, you need to look at your expenses,
if you
and
go
you
into
need to
the
find out if
world-
you're really profitable.
Yes, and if you go into the world of, let's say, like engineering, and a lot of them will say, if I can't measure it, it's either irrelevant or it doesn't exist. So in regards to QuickBooks, those numbers don't lie, even though they say liars will always use numbers. But numbers, if you can't quantify it, how do you know how profitable you are?
You know, it's so funny because so many people will call me on the phone and say, "Oh, Mel, I'm doing amazing." You know, and they can tell their friends how good they can go on Facebook.
Right.
"Oh, I'm kicking butt, you guys."
And I've got the pictures to prove it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But when you look in the mirror, guess what? You can't lie to that person. And when you look down on that computer screen and you see your QuickBooks,
You see your bottom line.
you will know if
Yeah.
you can really say that truthfully
Right.
to everybody. And I always tell people, "Really? You're doing that good? Send me your P&L."
Right, yeah.
And
And
then
it's
I look.
interesting you say that, because that's one of my mantras. It's like, I don't want to be the best detailer, whatever that even means. I don't want to be the busiest detailer. I just want to be the most profitable detailer. So that we can quantify. So you send me your numbers. I'll be happy to show you my numbers. And then we can say, oh, damn. I said, because I've been there. I've had a shop. I've had employees. And at the end of the year, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
I am screwed.
Oh, my God.
I went through all those headaches, and that's my bottom line. I suck as a businessman.
Yeah.
I need to change something. So that was kind of a turning point where I thought, you know what? How can I become the most profitable detailer possible? And so that's kind of been my, but I don't hear other guys talking about
Well,
that.
not many do.
And I think,
not many do. It's really a shame. It's a bummer because everyone thinks by doing this great job on a car, it's the best thing in the world.
Well,
but the bottom line is, did you do the best job on the car, and did you make a lot of money
and
doing
did
it?
you make money doing it?
Yeah.
Because usually what goes through a beginner's head is this. If I can just get that one customer and I outperform his expectations, he's going to tell all his friends, and they're all going to flock to me because I'm the best detailer in the world. And I say, well, good luck with that strategy. But bottom line, how much did you make? What's your profit margin? Are you accounting for your time, your travel time, your setup time, your materials, your supplies, the time it takes? Who's washing your towels?
Most of the detailers in this industry, and this is no lie, this is a very hard fact. 90% of the detailers in this industry don't know how to run a business.
Right.
And they're not profitable. And they don't understand why. And the average detailer entering, the newest guy entering into business, lasts between 6 and 18 months.
Yeah.
And they're gone. And the number one reason is because they didn't make money. And they had to move on to do something where they
Right.
could generate income.
Right.
And the ironic thing is, I know guys right now, including me, that we're very happy financially. We're extremely happy financially. You know, I see somebody who picks up a brand new M4. Those don't come to you.
Right,
I got my
yeah.
new Mercedes-Benz.
Which model are you driving?
The ML 350 right now.
Nice, nice.
It's fun.
I'm a Mercedes fan also, by the way.
Okay, all right. There you go, yeah. And don't show
But
my
I'm also a BMW fan.
yeah. Anyway, so, you know, it's a great question. I wish more guys, and if they focused on, you know, you don't have, let me ask you a question. Be honest, am I the best detailer in the world?
I have no idea. You
No,
define best
no,
for me?
No, I'm not the best detailer in the world, but my business dictates that I am because I am flooded with work.
Well,
The only reason
that's
is
where I answer that question, because that's what I said is I hate that term. I want to be the best detailer. It's like, what does that even mean? So if you tell me the metrics of what the best means, then I can try to answer that question for you. So when you say, am I the best detailer in the world? It's like, I don't know. What does best mean to you?
Yeah,
like, tell me what the best wax is. Well, what do you want it to do? Do you want it to grow you more hair and give you more sex? Probably, I don't know what that wax is.
edit that out.
Yeah, you can live with it.
Yeah. Anyway,
So,
you know, it's
so
a good
so
question.
yes,
I'm glad you
but
asked
the
it.
numbers, that's where numbers come in. Can we measure it? It's like,
A friend-
okay, let me see your bottom line.
There's a guy in there who one day, back in 2010, he got real frustrated, he got really upset, and he decided to listen to me, and he said, you know, Mel, you're right. If it doesn't make me money, I'm no longer going to do it. And Chris Jankowski, another great friend of mine, said, in the end, Mel, we clean cars.
Yeah.
Don't make it so difficult. We clean a friggin' car. The other side is, you know, how do I got to order crap. I got to make sure I'm using the right chemicals, I'm trying to get customers in the door. I got to do marketing, all these things that I got to do that really make my business the money.
Yeah.
It ain't cleaning the car. That's the easy part.
And which is also the sucky part, because now, like, because I've got a YouTube channel, I remember, and I complain about this, I think, man, I remember the good old days where I could just show up to a car, have a brief conversation with the customer, learn what their expectations are, and get down to work and kick my ass cleaning their car, drive away knowing I did a hell of a job. I remember the good old days. Now I got to go in, set up a camera, make sure Johnny customer's not going to wander out and say like, hey, what's with the camera? Oh, I'm just shooting a video for my YouTube channel. Or the gardener showing up making all kinds of noise. And then it's like, oh wait, I've got to remember Snapchat. Or I've got to remember IG post or Facebook post.
Instagram.
This is like, oh my gosh, I remember the good old days. But it's kind of like running a business where it's like, hey, it's not just about cleaning a car. And to reduce it down to the simple, it's like at the end of the day, you are cleaning a car. It's not rocket science, and yet it is. But really, the science or the difficulty is, how successful are you going to be as a business owner?
Let me give your listeners a good tip. And this is honest to God truth. If they do this, they're going to be excited about life. Watch Marcus Lemonis on The Profit every Tuesday. It's an amazing TV show. It's Business 101. What he does, he goes into a business like Bar Rescue and all the rest of these shows.
Okay.
He goes in, he evaluates the business, decides whether or not he's going to invest in this company.
Okay.
And he bases it on three things: the people, the product, and the process. And if you focus on this TV show, it'll teach all of the beginners what they have to look forward to in the business world. Because it's Business 101. I watch it. I never miss it. And if I miss, I TiVo it or record it.
Yes.
I never miss an episode because there's so many things that I'm learning from him and the people he does business with. Some of the businesses he invests in fail. Some of them take off and make millions.
Yeah.
And when you watch and see the differences in why some of them succeed and why some of them fail, it's all...
You probably start seeing a theme
that
emerges.
It's all into one thing. Marcus is a great teacher.
Yeah.
And if you want to be successful in anything, you've got to get educated. And that's it. I mean, if you start closing your head to education, to this day, I want to learn. I'm a sponge. I want to soak it all up. And if you quit learning, if you don't want to learn, you'll fail.
Yeah. Well,
success is nothing but a whole row and years of failures.
One after another. The goal is that you only fail in that little episode of teaching once. And you learn your lesson. It's like, okay, I'm never repeating that mistake again. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm 62 years old. I feel like I'm on top of the world. But look I'm 62 years old. Mm-hmm. God, I wish I could go back and restart with all the stuff I know now.
I know.
Because
that's part of the goal is I can take some of this wisdom out of a person like you that has lived it. So you not only talk the talk, but you've literally walked the walk.
Big time.
And now, unfortunately, with social media, there's a lot of guys that are learning how to talk the talk, but they've never actually walked it. Yes. And so it's frustrating because there's a lot of misleading information out there. So it's like, okay, so coming from a guy like you that has survived and gone through all the endless learning curves and continue to go through some learning curves.
It never stops.
I remain forever inquisitive. I'm always going to keep prying it apart, looking in, looking behind the curtain, peeling back the layers of the onion because I want to know. Yeah. I want to learn and I want to know. And
I wish everyone was like that because that's how you grow. That's how you get great at anything you want to do. Tiger Woods didn't become this amazing man again by being stupid.
Right, yeah.
He was a smart man, and he came back strong, and anybody can. You can lose it all, and you can come right back to the top. You just got to work at it. Have a good foundation, and that'll always happen.
That's good. Well, thanks for your
time. No, man, thank you.
I appreciate
it's great that you're doing this.
And well see you at Huntington.
Yeah. I cruise on my bike. I cruise on my bike. I had an electric bike. It's like a Harley.
All right, man.
See you guys.
Okay, I'm now here with Chris West, the famous, infamous, depending upon who you ask, the ever so yet troublemaker, mischievous, provocative, eccentric, all those things.
He's like, okay.
Literally one of the most lovable guys that you will ever find. That is sincere from
That's funny. And like my buddies, they go, "Oh, Chris is a nice guy." Chris, and they go,
Oh, you don't know the Chris I know.
Yeah, that's true.
But here we are at Solution Finish. So Solution Finish, a trim restore. Right. So let me ask you this, because I've kind of reduced it down to 3 categories without overthinking it. You've got.
You overthinking it?
I know. Imagine that, me overthinking something. You have black trim. Your product is a true restore, which is different than, let's say, a maintenance product. Not that you couldn't use it to maintain.
Or dressing, right?
Or a superficial, lasts a week at best, a superficial type of dressing. So that's where I kind of try to teach my customers. And like, for example, the camera guy, Sean, mobile detailing. I'm mentoring him. It's like, okay, you've got to learn about trim restoration. There's a difference. A brand new car, probably not going to need a whole lot of trim to be restored because it's brand new. But every car is different. Every plastic trim is different. So it's going to be case by case as to how quickly that material ages.
Yep.
So you is a trim restorer. And I like to use, and this isn't from your mouth, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, because what I like to teach my own customers, like, okay, I can offer you 2 processes. I can dress it up and make it look good temporarily, or I can make it look good for what the industry calls a permanent fix. Permanent with the understanding that I'm working with inferior material. So that material is constantly going to leach out bad stuff that mass-produced material is going to be made from. But this is as permanent as you're going to get. So, Mr. Customer, which one would you like? This one costs you nothing. This one's going to cost you a little extra because there's some more effort, and it's just a superior product. Do you want temporary or do you want lasting? That's how I discuss
No, that's smart.
it.
I get it. You know, and that's what's funny is that Solution Finish was designed and formulated to be a trim restorer. Once you bring it up to that level, now you can treat it like a new part, as you would on a new car. And doing so with some of the silicone-based products, some of the dressings. Once you put Solution Finish on, restore the color, now you can maintain it with any of the other.
There's the key word. Now we're talking about maintenance, not restoration.
Correct.
Because I follow you on social media and I see some of the pushback that we all get. You know, once you go on social media, you just put a target on your head.
Right.
Some of us just have a bigger target.
Well,
I'm really good at painting a really big target on my back. So I've seen some of the back and forth and be like, hey, why would you ever do this and this and this? Or they'll compare you to other products. And it's like, well, dude, this is a restoration product. That's different than a maintenance or a superficial product.
Sure.
So you've had to kind of counter that pushback that you've gotten from some of the people, and it's largely just based on ignorance. It's like, okay, let's clarify a maintenance product versus a restoration product.
And a restorer and a dressing, a conditioner, you know. So, but what I found is some people are so tuned in with what they're used to using and what the people that they like and the brand, and they don't want to listen to anything else that is contrary to what their buddy said.
See, now you're just going down the world of psychology, which I'm a big fan of.
Okay.
It's called human nature.
Right.
We have a natural born aversion to change. We don't like change. It's called a confirmation bias, which means what conclusion we've already come to in our head, we will pick and choose selectively what confirms our own bias, our own perspective.
That makes sense.
So when you come in with something new, it's like, hey, guess what? I actually have a solution, pun intended, called Solution Finish, that will restore that trim. Oh, wait, that's rocking my world. You can't, no. You got to use this product. It's like,
You got to use a heat gun. My uncle uses a heat gun.
Yeah.
He said that, you know.
And I even saw a video on YouTube about it. It was crazy. The guy took a heat gun to it. It's like, oh yeah, what did the finished product look like? Oh yeah, what kind of damage did he do to that, by the way?
Yeah. After the first time it looks great, second time it looks great, third time it looks great.
what it's doing is it's breaking down and degenerating the polymers and breaking it apart underneath and pulling out all the release agents. And then all of a sudden you go out there one day and it looks like fuzz. It just starts all breaking apart. You go, what happened? You know, so
2 words: heat gun. That's what happened. Oh, and the knucklehead behind the heat gun.
And then there's a guy that was very impressive. He took it and heated it up first. Then he put solution finish on it. And then he heated it up. He's telling how you're opening the pores. It's drawing into the plastic. And then you take it and cool it.
And now
locks
it's closing
it in.
the pores.
Yeah,
Right.
and you know.
You're like, whoa!
Yeah. So they try
Okay.
to, yeah.
Well, see, I'm kind of infamous, I'll use that word, for going off the reservation and trying to use products in innovative ways that are off-label use. Because I get it, we're in a litigious society. Everyone wants to sue everyone's ass, so it forces a lot of us into that cover your ass mode. So I remember I was working on this car specifically one time. There's a domestic car. They tend to have cheaper interior materials than the foreign, more expensive stuff. I cleaned it and it dried the crap out of this door panel. And it's like, WTF. This cleaner is safe for basically every other car except this one.
I've seen it happen where they bleach it out, all-purpose cleaner.
Yes.
They've used it on a million things, and all of a sudden it just looks like you poured bleach on it.
It's like white.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go into freak out mode, but then my brain goes into, wait, there's always a solution. Oh wow, that was unintentional.
Right.
So I thought, wait a minute, if that'll work on black trim, which in many ways is the same type of base materials they use on the interior of cars, plastic trim, why not use it on the inside?
Right.
So I bust out the solution finish.
Nice.
Bam, 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 bam. I'm going, oh my gosh, I just fixed it. Totally fixed it.
Wow. See, and sometimes it's so bleached that even solution finish, we see it. Maybe somebody else won't see it, but you can still see it. But it's nice when you can put it on, let it absorb, let it dry, and do it again, and you can pretty much get rid of it.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times since then where I've actually had to go in twice, and it's like, okay, well, shoot, look at the results I produced with one application. Maybe it's so dried out and the material is so inferior that it will require 2 coats to restore it. But lo and behold, it restored it. So that's why it's just like, thank you, Chris West. you saved my day. You made me look like a hero to my customer.
And I'll tell people all the time, solution finish is not a miracle product. It's just a really good product for your, vinyl, plastic, rubber, your run boards, quarter panels, cab extensions, all of your bumpers, all of that. And they go, well, can we use it on the interior? Can we use it on tires? Can we use it on my barbecue? Can I use it on my wrought iron fence?
I know how you want to answer that, but that's where your mind probably goes like, oh my gosh, this could get really out of hand.
Yeah, because then they do something wrong.
They do
it's
something
not
stupid,
intended,
really
and then all of a
stupid.
sudden they go, well, you said.
Yeah.
So
You said it would work, man.
I try not to say. I say it works 99% of the time on rubber, vinyl, and plastic. It's not a miracle product, but it's the best trim restore
product.
It is the best. Nope. When I launched in 2010, I sold my first bottle in 2011. Nobody called their products trim restorers. Nobody. There was dressings, conditioners,
Protectants.
Yeah, exactly.
All these
and now every single manufacturer
has trim
restore on it because that is a key word for Google.
Yes.
that pops up.
Yes.
They don't want it popping up solution finish every time.
Right.
So, but that's why it's nice that I have trimrestore.com. That's
a good strategy.
That's my domain, and I got it years ago.
Which is why, as a web developer, one of the many things I do is I optimize for certain keywords. Black trim restoration. I don't know where I rank, but I'm pretty sure I would rank in the top 10 of Google search engine for black trim
Very good,
restoration.
Jay.
And guess whose black trim restoration product they're going to find? Solution
Nice.
So, and I can check my numbers on Amazon.
And let me
see
tell
how
you,
much.
for 9 years, I never sold direct to the company. Ever.
Oh, really?
It only sold through my distributors. No, never sold. And then when the Fusion Gray came out, I wanted to do a beta test. So I did a Shopify store, and I put the gray on it, and then I put the black on it. And it's funny, I haven't even told anybody about it. And we're getting 4 to 6 orders a day. And nobody knows about it. If I got somebody who knew what they were doing and made people, like hashtags and keywords and
You mean a guy like me?
Yeah, like a guy like you, exactly. So, well, cool.
Well, thanks for this.
Yeah.
Sorry for the cold hands. We're down in Huntington Beach. This is where your headquarters are at. HB, Surf City, California, Hang 10. Anyhow, so we appreciate this. Hopefully you guys have learned a little something. Solution Finish. How can they find you on social media? Because you just introduced a new URL.
It's really, everybody goes to Chris West,
right?
And then I send it to Solution Finish on Facebook and Trim Restore on Facebook, Solution Finish Tips and Tricks on Facebook. But for the most part, everybody goes to Chris West and follow all my stuff from there.
Yes. Or how to restore black trim. Let's see, I'm trying to remember the exact key words because I've optimized about 4 pages for that very subject because I get a little commission every time someone buys your product through Amazon.
Oh, see, and Amazon, I'm not on Amazon personally, but there's like 8 or 9
Other
guys.
people are.
I got a guy on Amazon that just bought another 912 bottles from me.
Wow.
That's a pallet of Solution Finish.
See, I don't know if in Amazon those sellers can see where that traffic's coming from because I would love to see those numbers. Because I can see the numbers on my side. Like I can go in every month and I can say how many people bought Solution Finish.
Well, we got to talk about all that because I'm a moron. I'm just in there mixing my stuff, bottling it, sitting it down, and going, God, I'm glad guys are buying this shit.
Right.
I don't know where it's going, but it does go.
Yeah.
So, all right,
cool.
Ciao,
all right.
guys. Thank
See you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Now, were you always?
No, you weren't. No, seriously.
He's got to be the
I am.
center.
I'm a complete contradiction.
You
do this all the time? No, well, before Instagram? Well, I did it out in the world, meaning I'm naturally mischievous, and I like to stir the pot, and I like to, imagine this. Imagine a little kid walking in the elevator, they show it in movies, and he looks at all the buttons, he goes, and everyone in the elevator is like, no! I would be that little kid. Okay, so that's what I do in life. I hope you're capturing all this.
The whole thing.
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
gosh.
Okay, so here I am with Tom Horvath. He is the developer, founder of CSI, which stands for Clear Code Solutions Incorporated, Inc. Many of you, if you've been following me on social media, I've been kind of joking, but yet not, saying, oh, I want to buy this company. There's some very specific reasons. Now, I can't actually afford to buy the company, but I want to figure out a way to invest in it, become part of it somehow, because I've actually known you, we try to do the math, over 15 years. Maybe 20 by now. And I remember back in the day when you had your facility over in Placentia. Was that Placentia or Fullerton? Placentia. That was an area that I did a lot of mobile work in, and I used to pass the shop, and I probably don't even want to tell the people what that was called. Okay, it was called System 1. Which is a good segue into what was the foundation of System 1, which is why I'm so enamored with your stuff.
So System 1 was a concept of polishing paint with one single product.
Which is completely counter to this industry that wants to sell you 10 compounds and 10 polishes. And not only does the industry want you to sign on to that, but then you have guys that will parade that around at the badge of honor. It's like, hey, I must be the best paint polisher in the world because I've got a compound that graduates all the way down to here, and then I've got 10 more polishes that graduates all the way down to there.
And then the auto body trade, and that's You come from the detailing world, which is great. That we're doing this thing together because I'm not in that world. In the auto body world, it's all about one thing. You turn the key in that door in the morning, how much money can you make? I mean, that is the only thing you do in a body shop.
We were just talking to Mel Craig. And you know Mel Craig, right? Okay. And he's been in business. He's one of the few guys who's been in business longer than I have. I think he has 40 years or whatever. What did he say, 40 years?
40 years, yeah. 40 years, yeah.
Some ridiculous amount.
Since 1981.
Okay, yeah. So one of his big things, I said, what kind of wisdom would you want to impart to the beginner? He says, if you're not making money, just close up shop. It's like, wow, you're one of the few guys that talk about that. Because I talk about that, and you're one of the few guys that's like, hey, as much as I love this, I ain't doing it unless I'm making some money. And so
It's the only reason you go to work.
So as a body shop owner, it's all about the bottom line, like virtually most businesses.
And then when you look at the...
Oh, by the way, sorry, a little sidebar. I didn't introduce, because this is officially the first time I introduced on camera. This is my wife, Jana Priest. Or short. I didn't go with short. I didn't go with short. I didn't go with Asian. But yes, you're clearly not white or all white. You're
Anyway, Tom.
Yeah. So the body shop world is all about turning a profit. Because Mel talked about, because I play this game, hypothetical game with my viewers, which is, hey, I don't want to be the best, I don't want to be the busiest, but what I want to be is the most profitable. So how can I teach you guys how to be profitable? Because by the way, if you ain't profitable, guess who's not in business anymore? You. And guess who's not doing what you say you love to do, which is detailing cars? You're not, because you're not profitable. You got to turn a profit. So the auto body world is different because there, to me, while there might be a lot of bad information, there's not the hype and the grandeur of the auto detailing world. Because we want to parade around our big assortment of buffers and pads and polishes and say, I'm the best paint correction specialist in the world. It's very different.
Well, you know I like to ride bicycles.
Yes.
And I have a lot of bicycles.
Yes.
But why?
Because you can only ride it one at a time,
I
right?
love having that many bicycles, and I only like it that I have a lot of cattle. Not that I have, and I think in the auto body industry, because my whole life, I mean, my dad raised me in it and brought up in it.
Is this picking up the audio okay?
Sort of. It's really loud.
Okay.
Maybe we should
Come
move.
a little bit closer?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because you don't have to get us full.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're still, we're both in the picture, all three of you, actually.
So in the auto body industry, you're raised in the concept of this about making money. You don't ever, even as a little boy, you don't have the time or the luxury to think of, it's not fun. It's not fun for anything. It's hard, it's dirty, and I'm from Ohio, and I deal with snow and sleet, deer hits, and people getting hurt in cars.
So yes, auto body is dirty, messy, hard work.
It's very, very hard. So you don't ever think about it as
Fun.
yeah, it's not fun. And my dad would make sure that I wasn't, what are you having so much fun for? So even if you tried to enjoy it, it would be like, we need to go on to the next 10 projects that we're not getting done. So you take that whole concept, and then when I did get into this side of it and making products, I still had that auto body mentality. I never lost it. I still have it today. I'm not going to have 14,000 different products to try and make money. Why would I do that? And then when I see these other competitors with this gigantic lineup, are you telling the people in our trade that they need to have that?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are.
That's the simple
they
answer.
are.
Yes, they are. And guess what? We embrace it because in our little brains we think, wow, how cool will I look? Because we think about it completely different. Is that, okay, if I can dazzle my customer and show him how well I can perform on his paint with a buffer, and I've got the 4 different compounds, the 5 different polishes to prove it, I'm going to automatically look more professional. And it's all about it's really like a show. I'm putting on a show.
And I think that all of us, when we started buffing and we're showing off our skills to those people in the first few years of doing it, I think it was fun. I mean, I think there is a show there that you put on because the more you polish, the deeper and wetter and cleaner it gets. Now that guy who's having you do it, he's obviously the business person who's paying us to do it. He is like, we're going to spend all the time, because he's already got a price from us on how much we're going to charge.
Right.
So spend as much time as you want.
Please, yes.
How many products? 14,000 different products, which aren't really doing much other than the first product did. Right. But because you're buffing for such a long time, the finish is getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're still getting $100.
Yeah.
So then you do that for a little while, and you go, I ain't doing that anymore.
No.
I do not want to do that.
At the end of the day, when I do the math, I basically walked away making $6.23 an hour. It's like, okay, that sucks. I ain't doing that again.
And if you're in the auto body trade, this side of the business is such a small side to what a profitable body shop is doing, from frame straightening, color matching, and all the very, very labor-intensive issues that you have to deal with when repairing your car. So you don't get the privilege of spending too much time in buffing a car. You don't get that. So CSI is getting in and getting finished, and the one thing, and this is the one thing my business partner and I, when we started CSI, when we put this all together, what is the one thing that we can do that nobody else is doing? Guarantee the results. When we put it in writing, everything is guaranteed. Everything that we're telling you that this can do, we guarantee it will. Low mill removal, perfect. Swirl guaranteed. Now, it takes a little bit of skill. It takes a skill to do anything.
Right.
So once you're going to use one single product, guarantee the results.
And see, there's the incentive, because, for example, when I first started a detailing business, if someone could say, Darren, if you follow my steps, I guarantee you will be a successful detailer, and by success, meaning you will be profitable. I'd be like, sign me up, because no one else is making a guarantee. So yeah, that would be a very compelling argument. It's like, we guarantee it. But you have a very simple product line.
Very simple.
Five products.
5 products, that's all you
Which, just to clarify, you actually have more than 5 products, because you could, I like to overthink things. Because you have like an aluminum polish, you also have
and those
pads.
are in the marine side.
Yeah. So I just want to clarify that. But the base simplistic, because that's what I think you use that term, KISS, keep it simple. So 5 basic products. But what is unique about your products, because I'm familiar with them enough for the past 15 plus years, and that's been my dirty little secret, is that it's like, okay, I would love to tell them about CSI, but guess what? Oh, you can't get it, only I can get it, because I happen to live by the shop that is produced at it. But I'd love to tell them, and then I would just frustrate them. But now it's available in many ways, so now I can tell them. So it's what I call my dirty little secret. So what's cool is that you can have these products, it's a simple product line, but they're so versatile. A quick detailer that can be used in many applications, which you just got done teaching me about using it to clean windows with, which is like, wow, who would ever think about that? So simplicity and versatility is kind of the conclusion that I've come to in using your products that many years. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Okay. Any last words you want to add?
Really happy to have Darren on board.
I'm trying to be more on board. So yes. All right. We'll leave it at that, and we'll bounce to the next person I can. Now I'm with Ed Terwilliger. How many people really articulate that R? Terwilliger, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So let me hear you say it.
They say Terwilliger.
Okay. So they blotch.
Or they really blotch it, but
Okay.
technically it's
Okay.
and it's Dutch, and it used to be Van. And, yeah, but in Dutch, it's pronounced totally different.
Oh, okay. I won't even try to wrap my tongue around
That's
that
why
one.
my students call me Mr. T.
Mr. T, okay. So that's a good segue. Your students. So let's just build a little foundation and context for our audience. You teach detailing.
Automotive detailing.
Where at?
Cypress College.
Cypress College, which is here in Southern California.
Right, we started the program in 1988. First program.
Which is the year I started my business officially, is in 1988. What a quickie.
Yeah.
Okay, but also we're at a meet and greet here at Solution Finish.
Right.
Now I noticed your name, your tag, IDA. So what is your capacity with the International Detailing Association? Other than wearing a cool name tag.
Basically, besides being a member, besides having the college be the second recognized training facility with IDA, I've kind of taken it upon myself to be an IDA promoter without officially being on the committee that does that for Southern California. So putting on these meet and greets as frequently as we can without being too often is a goal to build membership, which is growing rapidly. Although a lot of detailers don't understand why they are members. They say, why would you want your doctor to be a member of the medical board?
See, this is one of the things I talk about in my videos, is that we are, and it's like a lot of industries, that there's no formal consistency, it's random, it's all over the board, there's not a body, kind of like government, let's say government, that it's a body that makes up rules that says, okay, you have to know this, 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 and this. Like, for example, if I was going to become an attorney, I'd have to go through the lower education and the higher education, and then I finally passed what's called the bar exam. So it's structured. So that's...
And IDA is trying to pull that in. You know, we have a code of ethics. You know, we have 2 levels of certification. And that's growing. I just got a posting a week or so ago. There's like 22 people just got certified this month.
a lot of people.
Yeah, and probably another 20 signed up as members who will later become. At this meet and greet, I got hit up. I got 3 people who want to get certified.
That's cool. So let me ask you this question: if I was a beginner, I'm going to pretend, hey Ed, I'm a beginner. I want to get into detailing, based on the fact that you not only teach a class at a college, but you also represent IDA at a level. What would you recommend to me?
Well, obviously, I recommend my class.
Exactly.
Because
That was a leading question, by the way. I was leading the witness.
for $150, you get 80 hours of instruction, 5 hours a week for 16 weeks.
That's a pretty good bargain.
You know, they could hire
Not
you
from
for,
me.
They could hire you for a weekend, but it would cost you $2,000.
About I charge $200 an hour to consult with people all over the world.
Absolutely. And then on Monday, they forgot what they learned on Friday.
Yeah.
So,
Which is why I tell them, take notes. This is not a cheap moment.
I do too. And what happens, just this last year, I started requiring note-taking in class and turning it in the class. So I can just make a mark that they did it. Prior to that, they just sit there and educate and listen, and then when we go out in the lab, it's, hey, Mr. T, what should I use?
How do I do this?
Exactly.
I just covered that. Where were you?
Exactly.
Oh, I was trying to secretly text my girlfriend underneath the desk.
Yeah, that happens. But I mean, I'm not taking anything away from all the trainers that are out there training. But for the money, you know, I put in 16 weeks. I don't care who they are. I'll take a guy 20 years in the business. Right. Claude Harris, one of my former students 20 years ago, still comes back from time to time. And others do too. It's changing.
All right, Cole. Well, thanks for spending a few minutes on camera with me. And I'm going to bounce to the next guy and see if I can coerce them on camera. And now, guys, I'm here with Ian. I'm not going to try to say your last name.
Ramelkamp.
Ramelkamp. truly unique, just as Ian is truly unique, just as Auto Fiber, which is your company, is unique.
Yeah.
And you and I were speaking earlier, and we've actually shot a video, and I don't remember if that was at SEMA or Fair Jackson.
It was at SEMA.
Okay, and that was like 2 or 3 years ago?
Year and a half. No problem.
Year and a half?
Well, yeah. I mean, not the previous SEMA, but the one before.
Okay, so Auto Fiber, microfiber, but you guys make a lot. You have a very diverse lineup of microfiber cloths.
Yeah.
What I asked you is what one or two things that makes your company unique, different, special than, let's say, other companies.
Yeah.
Because microfibers can be found in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Now, I know what my impression of auto fiber is, but I wonder, like, obviously there's an audience that's going to be watching this.
Yeah.
What would that thing be that makes auto fiber a little more unique?
Well, the number one thing for me is trying to be innovative and to solve problems, and create solutions for detailers. So that's the number one factor, and then trying to have a balance between quality and affordability, right? Because there's a lot of companies out there that will try to
and that's a constant battle.
There is a battle,
industry,
right?
Especially detailers. I mean, honestly,
yeah.
Detailers are some of the cheapest guys you're going to find anywhere. We are cheap asses.
Which is good, right?
In ways it can be good.
It can be, but it can also be detrimental also. And from, my business's perspective. So we sell towels from the cheapest towels possible to the most expensive ones possible. And, one thing we're trying to get away from is the race to the bottom. Just,
that's
selling
a good
the cheap,
saying.
right?
I got to remember that.
No, because it really can be, right? If we're always competing.
It reminds me of the trophies. You've got first, second, or third, gold, silver, bronze, and it's like ultimately there's only one place. You either win or you don't. Because if you're in second place, kind of like the race to the bottom, you're just the first one to fail.
Yeah.
So that just reminded me of that.
Yeah. I mean,
commodity hell.
Yes, right. So, I mean, I've been selling microfiber for almost 20 years. I started the business in 2001, and I started it, buying towels from my dad, who had started, a microfiber business 5 years before that. He was one of the first people to bring microfiber to America, and at that time, towels were like minimum $5, right? Lots of towels were $20. They were called the miracle cloth, right?
Well,
and the whole
just as a little context, when I first started detailing, the ultimate was a baby diaper.
Yes.
Microfiber, if it existed, we didn't know about it because this was before the internet.
Well, there was
social media.
there was Turkish cotton also, right?
People. We didn't even overthink it. We just didn't know microfiber didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was a baby diaper was the ultimate. But not anymore.
And at that time we were trying to educate detailers and automotive industry on why microfiber was better, right? The superior absorbency, the fact that it scratches less. Although it also is a double-edged sword, right? Because it picks up everything. So anytime you're wiping with a dirty towel, you're going to be introducing defects. So there is a lot of education that went into it. But now the microfiber, everyone knows microfiber. The whole industry is saturated with it, and everyone's trying to get lower, cheaper prices and products, right? So
let me add a little caveat to that, is because it's really hard to stay on top of everything as a detailer. Constant products, constant tools, and I'm going to label a microfiber as a form of a tool.
Absolutely.
You just can't keep up with everything.
Yeah.
And so you're fed the stuff, and it's really hard to verify the information. So one of the things in the past few years that I've noticed is that people will talk about, Korean microfiber, or Asian microfiber, or Euro microfiber. It's just like, is that better? It's like, well, they just told me it was better, so I guess it must be better. So it's really difficult from a user end of the perspective to try to keep up.
It's almost impossible, right? There's so many different options, and if you don't have experience, you kind of get sucked into, buying a product that's inferior based on marketing. So for us, besides innovation, trying to develop products that actually solve problems, we're also, we try to be really honest about the products, right? We're not trying to like sell snake oil or necessarily, it's not all about marketing for us. I really want to be honest.
Honesty and integrity, what a concept, by the way.
Yeah.
I wish there was more of it going around.
It's a long-term game for us, right? I'm trying to build a business, and I have been building a business since 2001, right? Almost 20 years. And I want to go for 20 more years and keep building the business and the brand. And so in order to do that, I have to build a business based on integrity and being honest with people. And, when we have
long-term games.
Yes, and lots of times if I have a product and a customer has a problem with it, I want to know about the problem, and lots of times that's where a new idea comes from, right? So all of the ideas for products we have come from discussions with our customers.
Feedback.
And lots of it comes from a mistake. We make mistakes, and lots of times our quality control is not perfect. We can have a towel that comes in that's a crazy linter,
or it's cut in this really funky
That happens to us all the time, right? And so we can only catch so many problems, but I think customers learn over time dealing with us that when we make a mistake, we're not blaming them, or we're trying to
stand behind your product.
We stand behind it, and we want our customers to come, because the last thing I want is a customer to have a bad experience and then just say, forget these guys are horrible, I'm going to the next company. I want my customers to come to me and tell me, so I can win them back.
You actually want that feedback.
Yes.
See, and that's one of the things I try to teach through my videos is, by the way, first off, if you know how to do it, because when people are presented with a problem, like a detailer, we're presented with a complaint, a problem from the customer. It's like, oh my gosh, and our ego kicks in. It's just like, oh, that's not my fault or whatever. It's like, guess what? The customer really only wants to know one thing, is that you're just going to make it right.
Yeah.
They don't really want to know why. They don't really want you to stand there and justify all this stuff. They just want to know you want to make it right.
Yeah.
So if you handle that problem, which is in many ways what you were describing, if you take that problem, you can actually use it in your favor.
Absolutely.
So in your case, you learn from it.
Yes.
As a detailer's perspective, it's like, okay, if I just own that problem or mistake, if I made it, then guess what? Now I've just developed trust with my customer.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to hear me give all these stupid excuses. It's like, you know what? You're right. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And you build that trust.
Well, so some of the best relationships, business-to-business relationships I've developed over the years have been from having a problem and then handling it correctly for the customer, and then you building that relationship. And so many times the problem is what solidifies the relationship if you handle it correctly, right? Yeah, so it's an opportunity every time. But anyway, so this is where lots of our more innovative products have come from. Like our applicator, the Saver applicator for ceramic coating, has the plastic barrier in it that prevents the coating from soaking through. That was a problem that we were having dozens and probably 100 detailers.
Which is very cool, because I'm going to default back to there's very few people cheaper in the world than detailers.
Yeah.
So when I'm using an applicator sponge, I think, man, when I apply to the sponge, I'm wasting all this product. How can I get all the product out of it? So when I don't know how long ago that was, you said, hey, we've got this cool applicator, and it's got this barrier, and I thought, wow, what a concept. That is cool. Now, as a cheap-ass detailer, I'm thinking, I'm maximizing my product.
Yeah, and that wasn't, I mean, it was a product that we came up with, but it really was a product that our customers were asking for over and over and over again. And it took time to figure out the right way to solve the problem. Like, I tested different types of foam that don't absorb. I tested different types of barrier layers, or different spray coatings on the back of the microfiber. We tried to impregnate the fibers different ways. So we went through a bunch of different testing to come up with the solution. And then the other part, so we also do like custom printing on towels, because we want, it's cool, like lots of detailers are into promoting the brands of the products that they're doing. But I think it's, the detailers need to promote their business, right? Not really
personal branding.
The personal branding of their business with their customers.
Personal branding?
Yeah, right?
Where's your...
Well, I've got Billy's on, but we've got auto fiber here. Okay. But yes, so, guys want to promote the companies and the chemicals and the towels or whatever they're using, but really we want to help support detailers promoting their brand to their customers. So that's why we do the custom printing on the towels, and we have the bags, the swag sacks that we print on, so that detailers can leave a bag or a product with their customer after the job. So I think a towel or a bag or something is better than a business card, right? Because it's something that a customer's going to use and leave in their car. So it's just kind of helping detailers provide that extra value to promote their business.
That lasting impression. Yeah. Because as I say, it's far easier to keep a current customer than to spend the time and energy to go find a new customer.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing how many just guys in business, period, they don't understand that. They're so focused on got to get new, got to get new, got to get new. It's like, well, dude, if you just took care of your current customer base, how easy is that?
Yeah.
Way simpler than trying to go out and find new customers.
Yeah.
And it's just often neglected.
Yeah.
So that branding is cool, little bag.
Yeah.
It lasts, they can use it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So, and that's one of the things, because I wasn't trying to, what I call leading the witness.
Yeah.
Presenting you with that question.
Yeah.
And you answered it the way I would have answered if someone had come to me and say, Darren, what do you know auto fiber? Yeah, I know Ian. I know his company. I know their products. What's different about that company than, let's say, other microfiber companies? I say, well, what it seems to be different is that they keep coming up with really cool ideas that I don't see happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a 3 type of layered cloth or a 4 type of layered cloth for cleaning windows, different colors. Like you and I have had this discussion where I don't like the white window cloths. I want a darker window cloth because I don't like to see it getting dirty. And you're like, but some guys like white. And I get it. It's a personal choice.
There's a lot of balance to that, and it's a problem that it's like a tightrope we're walking, right? With all these different towel versions and colors, right? People are like, it becomes overwhelming. But, we also have to serve and listen to our customers, right? So a lot of the time, I think we'll have a great idea and I'll bring it to the market and it just doesn't resonate with customers, and you have to kind of respect what the customers are telling you, right? And then other times we'll have a silly idea that we don't think is going to do that great, and that's like the best seller, right? So it's
hard to know.
You can't know until you bring a product to the market. And lots of times your intuition is wrong. So that's, the longer I've been doing this and the more we've been doing it, trying to develop and come up with new products. So, auto fiber is kind of new out there in the industry, but, we've been a wholesale supplier in the background to many companies for,
long before that.
Long before the auto fiber brand. And so we've been, developing and coming up with new products. Like we were one of the first companies, we probably were the first company to actually put like a Band-Aid on the edge of a towel, right? And we were one of the first companies to make edgeless towels.
Well, I'll tell, this is a little off topic, but yet still part of the topic, because I don't remember who I was talking to that I got on camera. Oh, I think it was Chris, and I talk about psychology. I'm a big fan of psychology and the study of human nature, I call it. So as humans, we're naturally change averse, meaning we don't like change. So I remember starting out using traditional terry cloth towels to clean cars with. I remember when I got a microfiber cloth to my hands for the first time, and I went to use it to clean an interior with, and I hated it because it grabbed. It did not slide. But it was based on something completely different. So automatically I'm going to resist change. It's like, oh no, I don't want microfiber. It's different. I don't like the way it's working. But it was also based on ignorance because I didn't realize how absorbent they really are, how much more friendly they really are on paint. So when it came to cleaning the interior, it felt different. But once I realized what was going on, it's like, you know what? I can embrace this. Now I would never touch a different. I would never touch a different cloth than a microfiber of some type of version. Waffle weave, edgeless, double-sided, and those versions. Old sidebar.
I mean, It's true, and for a long time it took a lot of education and trying to convince people. We don't have to convince people of microfiber at all anymore.
I don't know if there's an industry that doesn't use microfiber. From your glasses now, you get little microfiber cloths to clean your glasses.
We sell to so many different industries. Yeah, and that's what makes it a great business, because we can diversify, right? But we also have to, focus. So now that it's become such a, one of the main tools in auto detail, we can really dig in and come up with these more unique, innovative products. Where, the applicators, we couldn't have sold those 10 years ago, or maybe even not even 5 years ago. I mean, ceramic coatings weren't around 10 years ago. Right? So, but yeah, there's a balance between the two, because there are some customers who just, we have some customers that buy one type of towel in 5 different colors, and then that's all they use, that one type of towel, and they have systems and products that, make it more efficient. And there's other types of customers that have a different lifestyle, different drying towels, different paint towels, different Leo towels, interior towels.
Sounds like my system.
Yeah.
I want a very specific towel for a very specific task or part of the process.
Yeah, but then that comes with a whole other set of contingencies that you have to maintain all these different towels, right? So, and you have to keep them separated.
Trade-offs. Everything's got
right?
trade-offs.
Yeah. So us as selling this kind of commodity, we have to cater to both types, and a lot of that comes down to education, and that's where somebody like you come in, right?
That's my attempt, is I want to educate them, try to help these beginners.
You help filter out all that information.
Trying to, yeah.
So, and I try to too, but I do it more like on a customer-to-customer basis, and then I rely on guys like you to distill it. Because the other thing too is, like, I'm in the weeds with the product, right? Sometimes you miss the bigger picture when you're in there trying to develop stuff. But that's where the communication with the customers comes.
Well, with that said, communication, thanks for coming on camera, giving you some unique value, what I call unique value proposition of auto fiber. So, and in behalf of my viewers, thank you, Ian. Until next time, sorry for the cold hands, but I'm starting to get really cold out here.
Yeah, it might start sprinkling soon.
Yeah, all right, buddy.